Hi, everyone. This is Marilyn Bradford, and I would like to welcome you to my Left Turn podcast. What is your left turn? Writing a blog, parenting in a different way, letting go of the old because you are aware of something greater. Left turns are choices we can all make. It's about a willingness to step into the unknown in any area of your life, to trust yourself, to risk creating or trying something new. It's about letting your true uniqueness shine. The greatest people who have lived, artists, statesmen, writers, explorers, musicians, have all been people willing to turn left. What capacities do you have that you have not acknowledged? What would your life and the world be like if you were willing to turn left? Welcome, everybody, to this edition of the Left Turn podcast. And today I have a truly fabulous lady, and I wanted to just give you an inkling of what we might expect, which is when she first came on the Zoom, she was turned sideways. I thought, this is a good indication. This is a very good indication of how many left turns she's done. So welcome, Karla Lightfoot. So glad you could join us today. And she made this special effort to turn herself right side up before we just started, which
I have to do that every day.
I bet you do. Okay, I'm going to read just a little bit about Karla, which means I'm putting on my glasses. Karla is a life adventure. Yes. Curious soul and a giggling and wiggling facilitator of possibilities. She is an access consciousness facilitator, medical hypnotherapist, TRE provider, I don't even know what that is, and a laughter, yoga, and sensual movement instructor. She gets around in the best sense. Karla is in awe of Mother Earth and this magnificent universe and is grateful to witness the miracles of life and greater possibilities daily. She wonders how much more fun we can have creating our phenomenal lives. So very, very welcome, Karla.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure you have many, many things to choose from. So I'm going to ask you, what are some of your favorite, most life-changing left turns, and what did they create for you?
Okay, well, listen, my very first that I can remember is in high school. Uh, I was supposed to be in a cotillion, a coming out.
Oh, okay.
It's like a coming out party where there's like lots of etiquette and, you dance with you have a date and all that. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. So I asked my parents, can I just go to Italy for the summer instead?
I love it.
So, and they said yes. And so I went to go study Italian for 3 months during the summer in a
My
small
good.
town. Yeah, called Urbino. And kind of started my journey with we've been laughing so much. I have tears in my eyes, by the way. Um, so yeah, it started my journey of studying Italian, and I ended up going to college, and that was part of my major was Italian, and I lived in Italy for a year and a half, and
Oh my goodness.
love all
I'm
things
envious. I'm
Italian.
not always envious, but I'm envious of that.
Yeah, but that's the first left turn I can kind of that pops up. Um, in college
Mhm.
or after college, all of my friends were becoming doctors, lawyers, and Indian chiefs, and I decided to go into fashion. And
Wow.
so that was like another left turn. Um, and then somewhere along the way, I started, my corporate career. I worked at Bloomingdale's and Starbucks and all these different brands. And I started to like wonder what the heck I was doing, you
Mhm.
know? Um, so I continued doing that work, and at a certain point, I started to choose things that were fun for me. So I worked as a in sports hospitality where I would like travel around the world, going to different sports events like the Masters and US Open
Oh,
tennis. And that was like, "Ooh, I like this." And then I rode the internet wave and I did sales,
Mhm.
internet sales, and really did well there. Lots of like, I don't know, I did well financially there, but it kept coming up like something, it's just something, eating at me, not, that
Yeah.
like there had to be something more to life. So, well, actually, I'm probably passing up a few things because I ended up writing a book with three friends. It was a satirical book called The BAP Handbook, The Official Guide to the Black American Princess.
Tell me more about that. I would love to read it.
So that kind of came about out of this corporate thing. And, just like, I was like, oh my God. And I got together with a few friends and we just came up with this project. And we're like, you know what? People have this point of view about Black people in the world, and
Yeah.
like there's all kinds of Black people, and let's share our you know lives with people. So basically, it's a satirical book. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Preppy Handbook, but it's kind of like based on the Preppy Handbook. It's very quippy and like light and fun, and it does have a lot of points of views and judgments in it in a really funny way, like it,
Yes.
laughing at them. Um, so yeah, that was sort of the space where it's like this creative energy kind of like put me in a different space. We
Yes.
ended up on the New York Times
Mm.
entertainment section, and we did a 10 city book tour, and we were on Good Morning America, and it was like, oh, life can be different.
Yes, it can be.
So yeah, I took that journey, and then I ended up going to journalism school.
Wow. How old were you? I
Yeah.
mean, just around, because that's
I was older. Most
older.
people who go
Yeah.
to journalism
In
school
school.
are in their 20s, and I was
Yeah.
in my 30s.
That's what I was thinking.
So, yeah. So it was really different. And I will tell you, I chose to go to journalism school because I was still straddling that line of having to function in this reality with my background and all the expectations. And then also because the other side was I had just done this big 10 city book tour, and I was like, journalists, they do interesting work in the world. So it's like all this time I had been like seeking, like, what can I do that's
Mm.
actually interesting to me and holds my interest? I mean, I'm a humanoid, you know?
Right.
So it's like here, there, here, there, here, there. So yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go to Columbia Journalism School, which is like, muckety muck school
Yes.
of
Yes,
journalism.
absolutely.
And so I ended up getting in. It's very difficult to get in. And it was intense. It's a 10-month program, or it was. And through that, because if you don't make your deadlines, you get kicked out. Through that, I discovered yoga.
Huh, through the journalism school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm just kind of catching you up to
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I mean, this is why I love these left turn podcasts. I learn so much about people and get ideas and get inspired. And you're very inspiring.
you asked me before, and I was like, Marilyn, my whole life was a left turn. So yes, I ended up going to yoga because it was so stressful for me to like make all the deadlines. And there I started to find a space of like where I could relax, where I could
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
and navigate this whole process. So
Yeah.
after that, I became a yoga instructor. um, and also became vegetarian. I spent 30 days doing yoga and eating vegetables. And I often say that I was brainwashed.
In what way?
Brainwashed to become vegetarian. I mean, I did watch movies and things. And by the time I left my training, I thought, oh, I'm going to go get a grilled lamb chop with rosemary and garlic. And right. So I get back home, I go out to dinner with a friend, and we ended up going out for Thai. And I had a summer roll with the shrimp in it, and I bit into it. And my friend was like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "There's a shrimp in here." So it was an unexpected left turn becoming a vegetarian.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I've always said if I ever desire to eat meat, that was back in 2004,
Wow.
just to acknowledge that. I've always said if I'm vegetarian, then, I'll choose something. I mean, I'll eat meat if my body's asking for it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So from there, I worked for People magazine, hiding in the bushes looking for Jennifer Aniston.
I could just see you crouching down.
Oh my goodness. And so I was like, this isn't really for me. And
Mm,
everyone was so, you know, I guess envious because to get that kind of job out of journalism school
yeah.
is, pretty rare. And I was like, nope, not for me either. So, yeah,
Wow.
all this time was like, are you my life? Are you my life? Are you my life? Are you my life? And then eventually I ended up coaching women entrepreneurs
Mm,
to start businesses. For I owned a franchise called Ladies Who Launch. Super fun. It wasn't necessarily numbers oriented, it was more like mindset oriented.
uh-huh.
And I had a business partner. And one day we were sitting in a room and she said, "If you could do anything right now, what would you do?" And I said, "I would go study hypnotherapy." And I had read a book by Dr. Brian Weiss called Many Lives, Many Masters,
Yes.
where he basically is not getting anywhere with his medical training and goes into like hypnotherapy and actually opens up doors for several of his clients. Um, and so, yeah, we had that conversation. And then the next day, I got an email from the Hypnotherapy Academy of America in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Wow.
And I was like, my partner, Stella, did you put my name on some list? I was like, what the heck? So it was really just kind of like, for me, this like the universe going, hey, follow this, this could be for you. So yeah, I chose to go to hypnotherapy school and I lived in Santa Fe where you are for 3
Yeah.
months. Yeah, I was getting married that same year and um 3 or 6 months before or 5 months or something, I told my husband I'm going to go live in Santa Fe for 3 months. And he's like, "What?" And I just felt like if I didn't do it then, I wouldn't have chosen it.
Mhm.
So that really started to open up the space for me to see something different, experience something different. And
Mhm.
along the way, I've always read lots of different books.
Right.
Yeah. Like, all the Deepak Chopras and the
Yes.
I've always been
Oh,
a
yeah.
seeker. That was always a part of my life. But in this space of medical hypnosis and hypnotherapy, I started to see how things could shift so easily.
Yeah.
And, one of the things I work with pain patients a couple days a week,
Okay.
excuse me. And one of the things I found fascinating during my training is we all went into hypnosis and we anesthetized an area, our hands actually,
Uh-huh.
and they stuck a needle in
Huh.
and I could not feel the needle.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was like,
Wow.
what? So that just really blew my mind.
Yes.
And so I started practicing and worked in the hospital twice a week, and I have my private practice and just always asking for more,
Yes.
always asking for more.
Yeah.
So the thing that, it's this interesting journey of ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. And then, so I have been in this space of delving into possibilities and facilitating change for, oh gosh, that was 2008.
Wow.
So if I can add, I don't have much of a brain anymore. One of my capacities is CRS on overdrive. I'm
I can relate to that one.
I'm surprised. Okay. Yeah, how many years is that? 18, 17, something like that. And I was on a website one day and found Access.
Huh.
Yeah, the Jeffrey Fannin video
Okay. Yeah.
where he talks about, when you get your bars run and they show the scans, um, that it's like, you're meditating. It's like you've been meditating in a cave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I gotta get some of this stuff. So I found Access in, I don't know, like 2018, the end of the year,
Yeah.
and went straight to a class. It was kind of magical the way it showed up. It was my birthday week, and um really, I had booked clients and I really wanted to go to this class. So everyone magically started rescheduling. And I was like, oh, okay. Cause I hadn't thought to cancel or whatever. And so then I sign up at 10 o'clock at night. The person who was having the class didn't have any other signups and she was at a concert. I happened to call her because I'm like, I'm last minute. I just sign up, and she's like, oh, I forgot to take that down. And she's like, I'm at a concert right now. Wait a minute. No, let's do it. Come to my house tomorrow and we'll have the class.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I had this one-on-one class and wow, it fucking changed my life. If I
Yeah.
can use if I can use expletives on your show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I just was like, more, 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 please. And jumped into all the classes and um, have been facilitating now for 4 years.
Wow.
And I use the tools in almost everything I do. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it just becomes being a question whether I'm facilitating a movement class. Often at the hospital, people will just be blown away because we can use one tool
Mm.
and the discomfort just goes away.
Yes.
So um, it's wonderful just to be able to see miracles occur right in front of you.
Yes.
And really, my life is about now, like, yes, creating greater consciousness and also happier beings and happier bodies on this planet for those who would like it. It's
Yes.
taken me a while to acknowledge not everybody would like that.
It's so
Some
true.
people would like to be miserable.
Yep. Let's see. Happy?
So,
Miserable. Oh, I'll take that.
somehow, some way, people aren't choosing that.
Yes.
So, what by the way, this is a wonderful conversation because it's actually enabling me to acknowledge all the choices that I've made
Yes.
and
Well,
all the adventures that I've been on. And I've missed some, by the way.
oh, I'm
So,
sure. I'm sure.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm really noticing one thing, Carla, and that is it's not just that you didn't talk about, well, my parents didn't like this, or I got a lot of flack from that. There doesn't seem to exist, and I'm not sure I've ever seen this before, any no's in your life. It's just like they just slough off, or any I can'ts, or any that's crazies, or it's like, oh yeah, let's do that. And I love it. It's really refreshing. And I just wanted to point that out.
Well, most of my life, it has been kind of like, do, do, do. I feel very fortunate in that. And I do want to say there has been it's so funny that you say that. I'm aware of this resistance that I have experienced underneath, just like the knowing that I'm different, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
or, even, I used to teach a lot of movement classes, and I've always just been a pretty joyful, happy person.
Yes.
And there are people who didn't wanna come to my class because I was just too joyful, too
Yes.
happy for them.
Yeah.
So it's like learning that, I'm not for everybody.
Yes.
But these are all things that I've learned and also opened up and become aware of because of the tools of access.
Yes. Which are amazing and facilitates so much awareness and joy and ease in our lives.
Yeah, yeah, and really not having to fight against
Yes.
and not having to prove.
Yes.
So for me, I mean, when you talk about those things, it's
Yeah.
like, uh, yes, I'm a great chooser and I'll have fun. I mean, my motto is follow the fun.
Yes.
Um, and yes, there's like, okay, all of my family and all of my friends and people who are, doing this reality and doing it well, like
Yes.
rocking it
Yeah.
financially and other things. It's like finding my way in that space was
Yes.
always, you know, kind of like pushing when I chose to do hypnotherapy, that was weird at the time. And
Yes.
everyone's like, hypnosis? You're doing hypnosis? Yeah. So I just want to point out it's not without, I mean, there's always been sort of the I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I had been, access made me aware of how much the push against was happening.
Yes. And
So,
seem to let it, I mean, I do get what you're saying, because all
yeah.
humanoids and beings who do different, be different, we have that. You didn't seem to let it stop you in any way.
Thank you. It's true. It's true.
It's so true, Carla. It's so obvious. It's wonderful.
Well, I mean, I grew up in a family where there was a lot of adventure and a lot of laughter.
Uh-huh.
And then I think, fortunately, parents who mostly would wanted us to be happy
Wow.
and may have wanted, certain things. And, I don't know, I just couldn't deliver on that part.
Right. I understand that one.
So, um, yeah, I mean, I have just been really lately enjoying the magic and the miracles of life.
Yes.
Um, and that's been a journey for me too that actually started. One thing I didn't mention is I used to take people on sacred journeys to Peru.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
Yeah, where I had many mystical experiences just in
Mhm.
terms of like with my body. That's actually so often when I'm facilitating, my body vibrates. And that's kind of the first place where I experienced that, just laying on the earth in
Mhm.
Peru. And that's just been a journey for me to really have this dynamic creationship and,
Yeah.
experience with my body and communication with my body, in terms of showing me what else is possible with other creatures, with other beings, with other babies, with babies. And really, this year or last year, starting to get the sense of truly what it's like to just be you and see what shows up.
Yes. That's so
Yeah.
crucial. Would you say that again, please, for people? That is so critical.
I was just saying, I was just starting to, I mean, look, just starting to get a lot of things. So, uh, what it's like to just be you
Yeah.
and see what shows up.
Yes.
Yeah. So twice this past year, I go on a walk every morning to Central Park and, well, not in the freezing cold now. Now I'm jumping on my
Right.
trampoline, but um, I went to Central Park and a horse called me over and I opened up my space and I started spending time with the horse and it was showing me where to put my hands. And a friend of mine was behind me and she's like, you couldn't see this, but his whole body, like he was shaking. And then I had the experience with also a little girl in the park. So right soon after that, I was meeting a friend to go do bars. And it actually just that experience was the space of just being
Mhm.
and asking and allowing
Mhm.
and seeing what shows up.
Mhm.
One of the asks that I had for myself last year, and I have no, okay. One of the asks that I have for myself last year was universe, show me my capacities in a way that I can actually get it.
Oh,
Be-
wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful.
because, cute,
Yeah.
but not so bright sometimes.
Yes.
And also, we're not taught to acknowledge ourselves. You did that acknowledgement group in December. I wrote stuff on. I didn't get a chance to post in the group, but on my own, I wrote a bunch of stuff down.
I
And
hear that.
what a wonderful and what a gift, what a gift. And so, what I was saying is, I've had all these very fascinating experiences showing up so that the universe can say, "Hey, can you see this?"
Yes.
Because, other people can see it for you in ways that you can't see it for yourself,
Absolutely. Because you
you
be it.
know? Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, "Oh, I see now," you
Mhm.
know? The second part of that, I was at the park and I was running bars, and this little girl just shows up in front of me and she's just staring at me. And she's smiling, so I smile back at her, and then all of a sudden she got very serious. Little girl. And I perceived she didn't wanna be here.
Oh,
So, I actually started having a conversation with her, and then her body started shaking, and I was like, "That's interesting." So, it's a new space and place, and eventually she just kind of, like, relaxed, and her caretaker came over and was like, "Is she talking to you?" And I was like, "Yes, we're talking." Um, and so just becoming aware of actually what's available to us beyond what we can see.
yes.
Yeah, really getting that in a way that and not necessarily solidifying it, but really seeing what else is possible that we've never even considered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Carla. I knew it was going to be fun, but it's so inspirational and informative, and I really appreciate you being on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I have enjoyed your book and, you know, now many, not several, like 3 years ago now, you were so helpful for a family member who was having a hard time with addiction. So thank you so much. And I love your podcast and I look forward to continue listening.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining this episode of Left Turn. I wonder what embracing left turns could create in your life. What magical possibilities might show up. Remember, when you choose left turns, you are joining a group of the most creative and brilliant people the world has ever known.